There are a lot of little jobs that you come up during a normal day on your Mac. You need to remember something for the next few minutes. Work out a percentage, convert a measurement, check the meaning of a word, sign a PDF, or get something from paper into the Mac. None of these jobs is difficult, but each one can pull you away from what you were doing already. Another app, another browser tab, sometimes even the printer. So in this video, instead of going through random Mac features, I want to show you how your Mac can handle some of these everyday jobs in a much simpler way. And the first one is something surprisingly useful. Suppose you are on a call and someone gives you a reference number you only need for the next few minutes. Open Stickies and create a new note. Let's say the person on the phone gives you this reference number. I type it here and now it can stay beside the work I'm doing. The nice part is that a sticky doesn't have to become another permanent note that I will need to organize later. It's useful for something temporary. You can resize it, change the color, and if you want it to stay visible even while other window is in front, go to Window and choose Float on top. Now I can move back into Mail, Safari, or whatever I'm working in, and this note can remain right here. There's also a translucent option if you'd rather see some of what's underneath it. And here's another useful thing to understand about Stickies. The note itself is saved automatically. If you close the Stickies app, the notes disappear from the desktop, but they have not been deleted. Open Stickies again and they are back. Especially after a restart, you can also put Stickies in your dock to conveniently open it again, and they are still there. So I think of Stickies very differently from Notes. Notes is where information usually lives long term. Stickies is for something I need staring at me right now. Now while that reference number is still sitting there, I go back to the email I was working on. There's a code attached, and now I need a quick number from it. This is where another very small detour usually happens. The quote is $245, and I want to know what 10% of that is. I could open calculator, I could grab my phone, but for something this quick, Spotlight can give me the answer immediately. There's one important thing to know here. When you're doing arithmetic in Spotlight, use a proper mathematical expression. For example, type 245, then asterisk, then 10%, and there's the answer. If I want 20%, 245 asterisk 20%. The structure is always clear. And while Spotlight is open, there are a few more everyday expressions worth remembering. For a quick division, simply divide. Or suppose the document says 32 feet and I need meters. Type 32 feet to meters. For very quick questions like these, there is often no reason to interrupt the work, just to open another app. But once I need to work with several conversions, there's a better tool for that. Open Calculator. At first glance, it looks exactly like what you'd expect, a calculator. But there is an entire conversion mode built right into it. And choose Convert, or press Command-Option-C on keyboard. Now calculator changes into a conversion tool. Let's say that some code has a measurement of 27 inches. Choose length, set inches on one side and centimeters on the other, and enter, and there is the conversion. You can switch to temperature, weight, speed, time, currency, and several other categories. For current currency exchange rates, you will need an internet connection. And the same convert feature is also available inside Calculator on iPhone and iPad. So there is a useful distinction here. If I need one quick answer, Spotlight is faster. If I'm actually working through conversions, Calculator's convert mode gives me a much better workspace. I'm still working with the same document, and one section has the text that's smaller than I'd like. And it doesn't mean the whole screen needs changing. Sometimes one line, one form, or one piece of fine print is simply inconveniently small. So go to System Settings, Accessibility, and turn on Hover Text. Now put the pointer over that text and hold Command key on the keyboard. The Mac enlarges that specific area without changing the rest of the display. That's the part I find useful instead of zooming everything. There's also hover typing. With that enabled, the Mac can show you what you are entering in a larger view while you type. These are accessibility features, but they can also be very practical everyday tools. At this point, I've got the information I need, so I want to give myself 20 minutes to finish the work. And this is another moment where it's very easy to reach for the phone. Instead, I can stay exactly where I am. Siri, set a timer for 20 minutes. The timer runs in the background and I can keep working until Mac lets me know the time's up. It's a tiny thing, but that's really the pattern we are looking at today. The Mac is not doing some enormous job for me. It's simply removing one more little interruption. And while I'm working or listening to someone, another thought comes to mind. It's useful, but it has nothing to do with the task I'm doing right now. If I stop and start typing it out, I've just broken the focus session I created. So instead, open Voice Memos, press record, say the thought, stop, give it a name, and go straight back to work. If you're using Voice Memos with iCloud, your recordings can also remain available across your Apple devices. But for this moment, I don't need anything more complicated. The idea came, I captured it, and the day kept moving. Back in the document, there's a word I want to check. Normally, this can turn into another browser tab, another search, then finding my way back to the page. For a simple definition, there's no need. Select the word, Control-click, or right-click and choose Lookup. The meaning appears right where you are reading. You can also force-click with one finger on trackpad. However, I like to set it to 3-finger tap. And now, it's much easier. Anywhere I need to look up, I use 3-finger tap and get answers. At the bottom, you also get other sections like Siri suggested sites, books, apps, movies. I'm about to step away and I want to know what the weather looks like later. This is where the phone often comes out, and there's nothing wrong with checking weather on your phone. But if I'm already sitting at the Mac, I don't necessarily need to leave it. Open Weather app and I can see the forecast, what it feels like, sunrise and sunset, humidity, visibility, UV information, and the places that matter to me, I can add them with just one tap. All available in the sidebar. And if this is something you check very often, put a weather widget on the desktop, and some of that information can simply remain visible all the time. Later, an email arrives with a PDF that needs my signature. And this is one workflow where a tiny job can still create a surprisingly long process. Print, sign it, scan it, attach it, and then send it back. For a straightforward signature, Preview can remove most of those steps. Open the PDF file, open Markup, choose Signature. If you have not created one before, you can write it on a plain paper and let your Mac's camera capture it. Once done, save it. Now place the signature in the document, resize it, save the document, and now you're free to send it back. The Mac is not replacing the pen. That's not the really useful story. It's replacing the unnecessary print, sign, scan, all that routine. But sometimes something really is physical. A receipt, a form, a printed page, and I need it inside what I'm doing on the Mac. Inside a supported Mac app, Control-click, choose Insert from iPhone or iPad, then choose Scan Documents. The iPhone camera opens, scan the page, save it, and it appears directly on the Mac. No taking picture first, no saving it somewhere on your phone, no emailing it to yourself. The day created the reason first. We needed a temporary note, then a calculation, a conversion, a clearer view of one piece of text, a timer, a place to capture a quick thought, a definition, the weather. Anyways, which one of these will make the biggest difference in the way you use your Mac? Tell me below. And if you found something useful here, a like helps other Mac users find this video too. Until next time, you take care of yourself and I will see you in the next one.